Hello, Colourwerx peeps. It is Friday, July 10th, and guess what day this is? It is Yes, it's Fab Friday. We're looking at the cactus cam for some reason, and I thought we were going to go to the cactus cam all of a sudden, but I guess not. So, yes, welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for episode number 7 of our Fab Friday. Please stay tuned. We're going to do some news first and say hello to everybody. Make sure you check in and let us know you're there and everything is streaming okay. We always like to know if everything's working for you there. My pillow is over there, but stay tuned because we're going to talk about slash and sew strip piecing, which is what you see behind me here on this quilt on the wall. So if you like what you're seeing on this side, this is the color struck pattern, and that's available in our shop at colourwerx.com. But I'm going to show you a little tutorial today about how to create a slash and sew pillow, and actually a slash and sew 4-patch as well. So let's see who's checking in. Everything's streaming okay. I'm going to look at some of the comments here with Carl. Oh, hello, Marianne. Thank you so much for checking in. And who else? Nedra, hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us this morning. It's always great to see everybody. And Pat from Pinehurst, hello. Thank you again for tuning in. And who else do we have? Oh, hi, Robert. Waves back to you. He's a fellow Palm Springs person here. So let's, and hi, Barbara. Hello. And one more, Connie. Hello, Connie. Everybody is checking in from all over the country. That's great news. I hope your week is going really great and that you're headed for a great weekend as well. Let's go to the cactus cam now. We have golfers. That's amazing to see golfers out on the cactus cam. And the reason being is we are going up to, I believe, 115 maybe today, maybe 111. I'm not really sure, but it's going to be very hot. I know that we're in for a really, really, really super hot weekend, so I'm going to be sitting right here sewing. So I'm not really going anywhere this weekend. We're going to stay inside. So let's talk about the Colourwerx gift card winner for this week. Last week's question was, what was your favorite iron? And this week's, the winner of that particular question, and we put everybody in a random thingamajizer, and the thing does its thing and selects a winner. And so this week's winner of the $10 gift card is Julie. Congratulations. We'll get in touch with you to get you your $10 gift card. And everybody stay tuned to the end of the show today for this week's question. And again, you just put a comment below and we will randomly select a winner for next week, or we'll announce it on next week. So what is the news of the week here at the Colourwerx Design House? Well, I have been busy with our Splendor Quilt Along. I want to show you some of the beautiful blocks that I've been making. So these are Splendor Quilt Along that's going on in our Colourwerx Quilt Along group. And I have been using the Tula Pink New True Colors layer cake for these blocks. And so this is just one of the blocks. I think they're coming out really spectacular. Here is another one. And so what I did is I chose 3 layer cakes, or 3 10-inch squares for each one of these flower blocks. So that's why you see the differentiating fabric. I think it always makes for a much more interesting quilt. And here's another one. I've got one more after this. This beautiful limey green, you can see right there. And if Carl is ready, he'll flip over to, there you go. You can kind of see what's sitting up or was on the design board. So the picture on the right is the first quilt I made, which actually graces the pattern cover. And the picture on the left is my new Splendor, which is in progress. And that one, again, is made out of Tula Pink True Colors layer cake. And I have to do the center flower, which is week 3. So if you want to join in, make sure that you hop over to the Colourwerx Quilt Along page. Make sure there's the schedule up for you. You can jump in anytime. And the pattern is available in our Colourwerx shop. You can jump in anytime and do it at your own pace. Here's the pattern, so you can see that. And that's available for 20% off in our shop. And again, all the blog posts and the companion video tutorials are up on our website, so you can go ahead and look at those at any time. So even if it's months from now, go ahead and check those out. More exciting news is Road to California is coming back this January, and they are planning for a show in person at this point. And so they launched the classes, and I am very honored to tell you that I am part of the faculty teaching at Road to California in Ontario, California in January of 2021. So I want to put up the classes. You can go register for these now. I am teaching my Bodacious Blossoms Made Easy class. That's on the Monday. And actually the way the website works at Road to California is if you want to register or check out these classes, just go to roadtocalifornia.com, click on classes, click on the Monday schedule, and you'll have to scroll through the list of classes to find me. I'm kind of near middle bottom of some of these. I'm not sure what order they put them in. And the other class that I'm teaching at Road is the stripping and stitching with paint box, and that's going to be on the Tuesday. And so I hope that you'll go check those classes out at Road to California. Registration is open, so go ahead, and if you have other classes that you want to register for, please go over there and show them support and love, because we're really happy that they're planning the show for January. I think we're going to be in the clear with all this COVID stuff by then. And I'm hoping that we have a show. Let's see. Candy, hello from, steamy North Carolina. Yes, we do remember the humidity there. It can get pretty brutal. And Julie's checking in. Good morning, Julie. You are the winner, by the way, of our $10 Colourwerx gift card this week. I don't know if you were here when we announced it, but congratulations. And also Barbara, yay, can't wait, she says. I can't wait either. I am looking forward to getting back into the show swing and getting back on the road and teaching and seeing people in person and things like that. I really do miss it. So I want to jump over to our tutorial. This little handout will be available as a download after the show today. So if you wait a couple minutes, I'll put it in the information above my head. So if you're watching a replay right now, you'll look above my head in the information, and you can download this little PDF tutorial of what we're going to talk about and what I'm going to show you. So we're going to head over to the overhead, and while I'm doing that, Carl's got up on the photo there of the tutorial, which is the Slash and Sew pillow, as well as the handout that will be available to you after the show. So just come back and download that. So we're going to talk about how to make these. And this is a 20 by 20 inch pillow. It's a slash and sew technique. It's very liberated technique. You don't have to have a good 1/4 inch seam. You don't have to actually cut particularly accurate about for this particular technique. You just have to have fun. So what you're going to do is you're going to start with, if you want to make the pillow that I just showed you out of 2 fabrics, you can certainly use scraps. For 2 fabric pillow, you're going to start with 2 1/2 yards. And from each one of these 1/2 yards, you're going to cut 13 5.5 by 5.5 inch squares. And if you want to use scraps, then you would just need to cut a total of 26, getting my pin cushion here, 26 5.5 by 5.5 inch squares. So I've cut, let's say, 13 from white and 13 from black. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my first 2 squares, and this is where the fun begins. I'm going to put them right sides up. So not right sides together, but right side up on my cutting board, just like that. Make sure that they're pretty even from side to side, edge to edge. I'm taking my ruler just to protect my fingers, and I'm kind of skewing it from right to left at an odd angle. No measurements here, no template. Just skew it and slash. Okay, now I have 2 piles that look like that. I'm going to take the bottom pile and I'm just going to shuffle the pile. I'm going to bring the bottom fabric to the top. I'm going to leave this pile where it's at. So now I have black on the bottom and white on the top. I'm going to put these right sides together, the 2 top pieces, and I'm just going to sew these together, and I'm going to sew these together. And what I get once I've sewn those together and press them to the dark side, of course, are 2 blocks that look exactly like that. That's pretty simple, right? So anybody can do this. You don't need a template, and you don't need to worry about measuring. Do I need to be 3 inches down here, 2 inches over here. Just put your ruler there to protect your fingers at a skewed angle and just slash through those 2 blocks that I did on the first step. You'll then square these down to 4.5 by 4.5. So you'll take your little square ruler. Remember, we started with 5.5 inch squares. You're just going to square these down to 4.5. Don't have to worry, you just want to make it a uniform size. Now, if you want to start with bigger squares, let's say you wanted to do something larger, you could, cut the beginning square instead of 5.5, you could cut it at 10.5 and then square down to 9.5. It doesn't matter what size you start with as long as you square everybody down to the same common denominator. So once I've got everything squared down, and of course I need to square down all at least 25 of these. So you're going to have 1 extra square when you get done if you cut 13 from one fabric and 13 from another. But you'll need 25 4.5 by 4.5 inch squares to make a 20 inch by 20 inch pillow. And now I'm going to show you the magic. So here are my squares. I'm going to start laying them out for you. So what I need to do for this pattern is, see how this black is at the bottom? I'm now going to put the black to the right side. And black goes to the bottom. And black goes to the right side. And black goes to the bottom. There's my first row happening right there. Okay, second row. And of course it's 5 across. And why? Because we're making a 20 inch pillow. So when these are now squared to 4.5, so we have to do a little math. So if I put 5 4.5 inch squares together, I get a 20.5 inch row by 4.5. So now we're going to flip the order. So here was black at the bottom, black to the right. Black goes to the right, and you're going to start to see the pattern start to happen. Black goes to the bottom. Black goes to the right. Black goes to the bottom. Black goes to the right. Next row. Here it comes. Black goes to the bottom. And you can see how fun this looks in a scrappy, if you wanted to use up a bunch of scraps or a bunch of scrappy. These are a bunch of scrappy black and whites. So again, black to the bottom. I'm repeating row 1. Black to the bottom, black to the right, black to the bottom, black to the right, and black to the bottom. Do you see the pattern starting to happen? The step down rail fence. Again, no templates, no measuring. You don't even need an exact 1/4 inch seam. You just sew these guys together. And again, I'm now mimicking row 2 here for row 4. And my last row to make my 20 by 20 inch pillow. Of course, you could make placemat or anything you want, or a whole quilt. Black to the bottom, black to the right, black to the bottom, black to the right, black to the bottom. Does everybody see that? There's your pillow. You sew that all together, and then you just do an envelope pillow back, and you're ready to go. Okay, so let's get rid of that. That is slash and sew, super simple. What if you wanted to do this pillow? This is a slash and sew 4-patch, and the concept is exactly the same. So now this is also on the handout. On this side is the slash and sew pillow I just showed you. This side is the 4-patch I'm going to show you right now. This is a 12.5 by 12.5 inch pillow, and of course I just did some machine quilting with a 12 weight thread on it. You can kind of see, I think, if I get closer, that the thread is super thick and kind of chunky. So again, and the envelope back, everybody knows that. I don't know if you can see that, where you put 2 fabrics together and you kind of fold over the back a 1/4 inch and do a top stitch here. I'll show you on the other pillow in a minute, but this is a 12.5 by 12.5 inch pillow form. How do we do that? Let me grab my cutting board. Back up here. Again, you would just start with very similar, maybe a 5.5 by 2 5.5 by 5.5 inch squares, let's say. Okay? And we're going to do exactly the same concept where we put them right sides up, right sides up, not right sides together. Again, we're going to throw our ruler down at any skewed angle. I'm going to slash once, but this time I'm going to slash twice. And what that gets me is 4 kind of misshapen piles, just like that. I'm going to shuffle the black to the top here on this side, and because I'm making a slash and sew 4 patch, I'm going to shuffle the black up here because that's what makes my little 4 patch, like that. Now I take the top fabrics from the bottom, and this is where you have to make sure that you don't mix up your piles. Be very meticulous because it is kind of hard to remember what angle went where. But you'll take the top 2 fabrics from the top and you'll sew those together. Let me remove those for a minute. So these get sewn together, and the top 2 fabrics, which is the matching pair from the bottom, get sewn together just like that. And you can see when I'm putting these together, I'm not even being particularly careful about offsetting. You know how you have to sometimes offset a 1/4 inch down here to make sure that everything lines up? That's okay. You don't have to be particularly careful because you're going to square this up when you're all done. So you're going to sew basically those 2 little things together, and you'll get something that looks like that, right? So next step is you'll just put these together like this. Now, it depends on how particular you want to be with this center section here. Oh, look at that. Somebody just text messaged us in the middle of the show. Isn't that great? Live broadcast. So, but so you could pin the center if you wanted to make sure that you get the center here matched up, or not. Just put them together and sew right across, and you'll get something that looks like this. Okay? Now we just square that down, and for the 12.5 by 12.5 inch pillow, which I'll put up here, right? These are 3.5 inch squares. So I would square this down. I like to kind of make sure everything's centered. So because we're doing a 3.5 inch square to finish, I'm going to put my 1 3/4 inch mark kind of in the center of this 4 patch. I will square it down. You don't have to be exact at all. And you can see there's a lot of fabric coming off, so you have a lot of room to not be exact. So there's my little 4 patch. And for this pillow, if I make 16, I believe, of these 4 patches, and I start to put them together, so there's one there, and maybe I put this one here like that. Maybe I don't want rabbits together, but I can start to connect them. All right, and so as I connect them, they start to create this really fun little pattern, which is this pillow here. So this is 16 3.5 inch squares put together, and you put 4 in a row, and then you do that times 4 rows. Or if you wanted to, you could use this as a really fun kind of border to a quilt. Obviously you'd want, let's see, to make sure that the white, I don't have the quite, you want to make sure the white and the black are different at the end here. But you could connect blocks together and rows together and make a border for a quilt, or make a long table runner perhaps, something like that. So again, that is the slash and sew tutorial. And if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments, but make sure you come back after the show and download that little handy handout for you, because it explains both techniques on either side. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let's check in with the cactus cam before we bug out of here for the weekend. See if anybody else is doing their thing out there. No, probably too hot. It's quite steamy. I was out walking this morning at 6:30, and it was 88 degrees at 6:30 in the morning, which is pretty amazing. So this is the type of weather that you stay inside with. Okay, let's see. Anybody have any comments or questions? Melanie, hello Melanie, how are you? Thank you for checking in. And Nedra, thank you. It is a fun technique. So I would encourage everybody just to go out and try that. Even if you think that you may not like to do liberated quilting, it is a very, very fun technique. And Robert says, fun technique indeed. Yes, thank you, Robert. And Barbara says, love that technique. Well, go ahead and give it a try. I'm going to put in now the question as soon as we get back to, Carl has to catch up. There we go. Hello. So let's talk about what this week's question is for the $10 gift card, everybody. So this week's question is very simple. What's your favorite workshop or class? You know, it's always hard to come up with these questions, but they're fun. So go ahead and comment below. In order to enter the contest for a $10 gift card, just go ahead and give me a comment below about what your favorite workshop or class you've ever taken was, is, going to take, whatever you would like to put in the comment section. And let's see if we have anything else going on before we get out of here. Melanie says, fun to slash and sew. It is very fun. It actually, I have a little story to tell you. So when I first started quilting, I was not really good at my 1/4 inch seam. In fact, I was really horrible at it. And I used to cut off all my points, and I would go back to the quilt shop and I would say, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And they would say, well, you just need to practice. You just need to practice. And I wasn't really thrilled with that answer. I thought, well, I really need something else to grab hold of. And then I took a class with Gwen Marston, who is, I would say she is the mother of liberated quilting. She since has passed us, but she, if you have a chance to see any of her videos, any of her quilts, any of her books, which there is a wonderful book out there called Liberated Quilt Making by Gwen Marston, another one called Liberated Quilt Making 2. She is what I would consider the mother of liberated quilting and the modern quilt movement, and we're talking now 1972, 1973, long before the Modern Quilt Guild or anything like that. And it was so much fun. So she taught, when I took the class with her, it was at Rhode several years ago, back in year probably 2002. We learned how to slash and sew. We learned how to get liberated. We did liberated houses. We did liberated stars. We did liberated 4 patches like I showed you right there. It was the funnest thing in the world, and I thought, this is it. I don't need to be exact anymore. This is too much fun, and this is what I want to do. So that's where all this slash and sew kind of liberated quilt making came out. And another wonderful person to check out is Jan Mullen, Jan Mullen, Mullen. She's an Australian artist, and she actually took off where Gwen kind of left off and did what she called cut loose quilting. And that is all slash and sew too. And she does some wonderful patterns. She's an Australian artist again, Jan Mullen. So those are my kind of my 2 quilting gods, other than Freddie Moran, of course, for color. So just so you have a little backstory there. Let's check in before we bug out. Quilting Cat, hello. Thank you. We had fun too. I'm so glad you're tuning in today, Cat. And Kay, yes, it does look like fun, and I'll get that to the handout up on the information part of this video right after we end today. And Suzanne, oh, hi, Suzanne. So nice of you to check in. I'm so happy that a lot of our customers from Lindarella's Quiltworks quilt shop that we owned in Southern Pines are checking in with us. It is so great to have you guys here, and I'm glad that we're making all these connections today. That is wonderful. Thank you for checking in, you guys. It's been wonderful. Okay, I asked the question. The question was, what was your favorite class or workshop? So you can put a comment below. And with that, I want to wish you all a very happy weekend. I want to stay cool. It's going to be hot out there. And keep safe, keep sane, keep quilting, because that's what keeps us safe and sane. And have a great weekend. Thank you, everybody. Oh, I forgot to mention, next week, the technique that I'm going to teach you, or the demo, is binding by machine. I have a little bit of a different technique I do for binding my quilt by machine, and I've been wanting to share that with you for a very long time. So next week's demo will be all about binding by machine. And I thank you so much for checking in today. Carl and I are wishing you a very happy weekend. Happy coloricious thoughts, and keep on quilting, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.